everyone, welcome to Pour Painting with Ron. In today's video I'm going to try something that I saw on YouTube the other day that I thought looked fun. It was similar to a travelling cup pour, but it used two cups with paint, and both were poured out at the same time on the canvas, which looked really interesting. So I thought I'd give it a go today. So I'm going to be putting the colours in the larger cup, and then I'm going to put black in the smaller one, and I'll just put it one inside the other and pour them out together, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting in one way or another. Anyway, the canvas I'm going to be using today is this long skinny one. It's 30 centimeters by 60 centimeters, thin edge, and I've just prepared it in the usual way. I've put on some painter's tape, easy to pull off, and I've used some giant thumbtacks at the back to keep it off the surface of my table. I've also made sure the canvas was nice and tight and that it was level as well. The last thing you want is paint falling off while it's drying. Now I'm using all Montmartre colours today, and for the canvas of that size I'm going to be using about 800 grams of paint. It's a bit of an experiment today. It may be too much or not enough, but I can adjust that in if I try that technique again. But anyway, I'm using about 200 grams of each of my four colours today, mixed up with my pouring medium, which is Floetrol. So I'm using all Montmartre colours. I'm using black, and then the bright colours I've chosen are magenta, blue, and light green. Now I was tossing up whether or not to use yellow or not, but yellow and black can look yucky together, so I avoided the yellow today. And as I said, my pouring medium is Floetrol. I used 100 grams of each of the colours and about 100 grams of Floetrol to give me the consistency that I wanted. I'll show you that consistency in a little bit. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, righto, here we are. Here are the paints I'm using today. As I said, mix 1-to-1 paint and Floetrol, and it gives me a like a thick honey consistency. So I get a reasonable size mound on a mound while I'm doing that with the spoon, or if I do the little twirly thing with the spoon, the bump stays on there for about 3 seconds. I don't want my paint too thin. If it's too thin, the colours are going to mix too much together, which is fine if you want the colours to mix together, but I don't particularly want them to. Especially, I don't really want them mixing that much with the black. Right, so I've made sure the consistency was the same across all of my colours today. All right, so first thing I'll do is pour the black into my small container. As I said, I haven't done this before, so we shall see how it turns out. Now I may not use all the black, we'll see. Black does tend to take over. And then I'll layer my other colours in this jug. Now I'll pour from the end I'm going to pour out of. Yes, I'll start with light green. Then I'll do some blue. I'll hope the magenta and blue don't do nasty things to each other. Really like scraping out the cups too much, because sometimes you get the thick unmixed bits stuck on the bottom in your painting. Okay, now that's that jug. Now this is going to be messy, I think. Maybe not. Well, we'll see. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start sort of in this end and do like S wiggly sorts of shapes until I get to the other end. Well, that's the theory anyway. Okay, don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. I'll just move it so you can see. Right, so I get the cut. Ooh, this is very messy. And I just push it into the paint with the other cup. And I can hold them both at once. Okay. Will this work? Here we go. It's a bit tricky. One to the end. I've got some space here, so I might not sure how that's going to work, but okay, a little bit of paint left, but I don't want to ruin it. Well, that could be interesting. Lots of black. Get rid of the air bubbles. All right, well, let's see. I'll stretch it and we'll see what happens. I don't really want the paint to roll over itself. There's quite a lot on the canvas there. I'm going to have to get rid of some. That was an interesting experiment. Don't think I like it very much, but anyway, such is life. The black did take over, didn't it? I buried a lot of the colour underneath the black. Maybe what would work better is using maybe select colours in the big cup and some different colours in the small cup and blending them together perhaps. That may work better. Anyway, I'll give it a torch, pop the bubbles, and I'll see what it looks like when it dries. Well, you probably gathered that I didn't particularly like how this painting turned out, which is fine. It was an experiment, and I think the technique has its possibilities. But off camera, rather than scraping it all off and just losing all that paint, I thought I'd have a little bit of a play just to see if I could fix things a little bit and make it a bit more interesting, which I think I did. I'll bring you in for a closer look in a second. What I did was I put a little bit of silicone on my fingertips and just flicked it across the painting just to see if I could bring up some of the colour that was hanging underneath the black. Well, I did get a few little cells pop up, but not spectacular. But then I got just a nail, something skinny with a pointy end, and I dragged it out from the colours over the black to make like little wispy wisps of colour coming off the ends, to make it look a little bit like colourful thorns or just an interesting design. So I think it's improved. I'll bring you in for a closer look and we'll see what you think. Okay, so this is the finished painting. Has possibilities, and I don't think it's too bad in the end. But we'll bring you in, and you can see what I've done with the nail. I've put it in the colour and dragged it out to make little wisps coming out into the black, just trying to fill in the black a little bit and create some interest. So I think that's reasonably pretty. Someone might like it. Same with this one here. I just dragged out the colour into the black with the nail just to make those little wispy bits. I think it certainly created a bit more interest in the painting. And you can see the little cells I got by flicking the silicone over the top. So I'm quite sure there's quite a bit of colour hidden underneath that black. Overall, it's sort of an interesting experiment today. Well, that was an interesting experiment today, wasn't it? What did you think of how the painting turned out? Don't be afraid to experiment with something, and then if it doesn't turn out how you particularly like it, well, before you scrape it, try a few other things just to see what happens. I did that, and the overall painting, well, it isn't too bad, I think. We'll see how it dries. Maybe I'll lose those wispy things. Maybe they'll stay. Well, we'll wait and see. Well, as usual, if you liked what you saw today in today's video, please take a moment to press the like button. It helps other people find my content on YouTube. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, please take a moment to subscribe. We'll see you next time, and happy painting.